Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 2, Infected. The first episode was phenomenal. As everyone knows, I am so ready for this episode. I'm kind of also not ready because I feel like the characters were, beyond the initial opening, relatively safe in the quarantine zone, and now we're out in the wild, and they're going to be infected out there, and I don't think they call it them zombies, so I'm going to try and avoid using that word. But I am so ready for this. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and also that this is a spoiler-free zone. I have not played the games, I do not know anything about the games, so if anyone comments on this reaction, please don't comment with spoilers because all you will do is ruin my future reactions and I will delete the comment. But yes, let's go. The world as you know it is about to end. You might find out about it before everybody else. I really didn't expect another flashback, so I love this. I would love to see flashbacks of the 20-year gap, but I doubt we'll see them.
Kondisi tidak bisa bertahan pada manusia.
Unfortunately, that's no longer true in your world, and I pray it never becomes true in ours. I mean, stays true in ours. By this point, it had already spread around the world, hasn't it? There was no containing it. Oh, it's alive! How would a thing like this... Does it spread through the air at all? Because how would it get from one country to another if... You wouldn't, like, put a zombie, an infected person on a plane or anything, right?
Bom.
Jesus Christ.
Mulailah seluruh kota
Jesus Christ.
dan seluruh orang yang ada di
I
dalamnya.
mean, that shows you the scale of the problem. Fucking hell. Again, a bomb dropped on my head might be a nicer way to go than running away from infected and being bitten to death.
What was Marlene doing with an infected kid?
I'm not infected.
You should be.
There's not gonna be anything bad in here?
Just you.
Oh, funny.
I mean, this would blow their world. Like, you'd almost be scared to trust it.
You need to stop talking about this kid like she's got some kind of life in front of her.
But you have to consider that maybe she does. Though I suppose I get why it's hard to consider that.
She told me not to tell anybody, and I'm telling the first people that
Yeah.
they're working on a cure.
I've heard this before.
And whatever happened to me is
It's the key to finding the vaccine. That's what this is. We've heard this a million times.
Well, she didn't
Vaccines,
turn.
no cures. None of it works. We need to go back.
I get why he feels like this, I do. But the evidence that she didn't turn is right in front of you.
If she so much as twitches.
Don't.
Do you have a death wish? What is being around a teenage girl gonna do to him? Okay, now I felt like I was confident they were safe while they were inside, and less so now. It was night last time she was out here. Remnants and relics of a world she never knew.
Is this where they bombed?
Yeah. They hit most of the big cities like this. Worked here, but it didn't in most places.
That's how Boston survived to have a QZ.
It's the long way or the we're fucking dead way.
Well, I vote long way, just based on that limited information.
In the game, it's the choice you get to make.
Check it from.
Whoa, when they get there, the scientists or whoever's coming to get her already going to be dead.
Where the fuck are they already?
You'll know it when they're close.
I didn't know last time.
Yeah,
How
true.
did you get bit? Just you in there alone?
Yeah.
That was a lie.
Oh.
Swarms of infected running around everywhere.
Not exactly like that.
You know, people like to tell stories.
Keeps kids inside if you tell them it's completely unsafe.
They explode fun.
Oh, there are definitely some out here, though. It might not be quite as much as they say it is, but... I'd be scared there was something under the surface that I couldn't see, and now I am scared that there's something under the surface that I can't see.
This is... Oh, check it out.
No, stay together.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to check your luggage?
She's a
Yes,
kid.
ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
You're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid.
Oh, God. Oh, just something's gonna jump out at them at some point. But they said you can...
Did that happen?
They said you can hear when they're close, right? I don't like that they're separating. Especially when I think the bulk of the game is just Joel and Ellie.
Well, some last about a month or two. But there's others been walking around about 20 years.
It's crazy, isn't it? You kind of hope they're all gonna just
You ever
die
kill
out.
one?
Fucking hell.
You step on a patch of cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else.
Jesus Christ.
Now they know where you are.
How does this stuff like get into you? Does it have to go through a cut? Or can you breathe it in?
Could mean they're all finally dead in there.
All? How many is all? I think like when we saw them before, these things were fast.
Yeah.
Are they noisy as well?
Cooked.
Oh shit. I don't hear it. Who would you hear?
Oh god.
Who would you hear?
Okay, from this point forward, we are silent.
Oh god.
Silent.
Are there different types of infected? Or do they do different things in different bodies? If I sit calmly, nothing can scare me because everything's calm. They're not silent, the stairs are creaking. Great! No going back the way we came. Nice video game thing to make sure you keep moving forwards. And plot. Oh. Oh lord. Stay with them. Stay together. Oh god, how many are there? Can they smell? I've just realised I'm just sitting here holding my breath. Oh god. Oh my god, fucking hell. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Run, run, run. Oh god. And all three of them are split up. I knew it was gonna be right next to him. I keep holding my own freaking breath. Like it's gonna help them. Did anybody else hold their breath when you were watching this? God, the smallest fucking stand over. Oh god, we're out of bullets. We need bullets. Woo! It was just two, right? It was just two.
You fucking kidding me? I mean, if it was gonna happen to one of us.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get the fuck out of here.
And back to the well, what if the second bite takes? I'm really hoping that it is just a twisted ankle and not a bitten ankle. I think you could probably tell the difference, but
Maybe the first bite didn't take. But what about the second?
How about you just take the good news? Can you do that? Like to think for once maybe we could actually win?
I mean, if she
Just go
truly
and
is
watch her.
immune, then it truly does seem like there's a chance to make a cure if you can figure out why her body wasn't susceptible to it. I do not blame him for not being able to find the positives and not being able to believe in something good happening, because not only after everything, like watching the world fall apart and surviving that would destroy your psyche in any sense of belief you had. And then also losing your little girl, not even to the disease, to the infection, to anything like that, but just to humans. That blood.
Tess.
Come on!
Tess!
We can't just walk in, we have to like be prepared.
She's infected.
Oh god, that's quick. That is a quick one.
Oops. This is real. Josh is fucking real.
There's hope.
Yes, you will. I never ask you for anything, not to feel the way I felt, not to let you shut the fuck up because I don't have time. You keep her alive.
She's hope. For the first time
And
in
you
20
said
years.
everything right.
Oh, fuck!
Oh god. What they said, you step on a patch somewhere. Others know. Holy fucking shit.
What do you do?
She's dead anyway.
Say who you can say.
Yeah.
No! We're not leaving her! Get off me, you fucker!
Dead, Ellie, sweetheart. She doesn't deserve to be alone. Oh god. Oh no. At least she won't have to live like that. This world is brutal. You were the only hope for the future, if there is one. To make one. You have to keep moving, sweetheart. Okay, that was another phenomenal episode. I kind of was expecting Tess to die at some point just because from the little I knew of the game, it's Joel and Ellie. It's not Joel, Ellie and Tess. I was also expecting them to not have a nice group of people willing to take Ellie off their hands, waiting with, you know, a nice safe passage for her. But knowing that doesn't make her death any less brutal. It doesn't make every way it happened, you know, we didn't see her for so much of that fight. I wondered if she was bitten. I initially wondered if it was her ankle was going to have been bitten. But she was just trying to get Ellie to safety. I suppose a part of her wanted to see her with the people that would take her to the scientists to kind of die knowing a cure was going to be made. I mean, I know that there's still no guarantee, but you could kind of tell yourself, look, I helped. I did something. I got the girl where she needed to go, and now the world's going to be okay, and I did that. And it kind of helped you die in peace, which is why it was so important to her to get Joel to agree to do whatever it took to get Ellie to someone that would get her where she needed to go. Because you want to die with that hope. This is the first time in 20 years there is a flicker of hope that there is a way to beat this thing. There is a way to come up with something that would mean that everyone could be immune. And I guess if with that case, yeah, you could still be ripped apart, but I don't know, people could train and squads of soldiers could kind of just try and go out and just from a safe distance just kill them all and then reclaim that, stop them. I don't know, you could do something, but the infection wouldn't be a worry anymore. And it is world changing, and I suppose I'm not a scientist, terrifying how possible this whole outbreak is, but you can't make a vaccine beforehand, but I suppose once it's happened, something in the human body could adapt, or like there is probably I guess it's more likely after the fact than before the fact to be able to stop it. In 20 years, who knows? I mean, I'm wondering whether like Ellie's mother was infected or something when she was carrying her, or, you know, I don't know just why it's Ellie. It could just be a random quirk of DNA. I think they definitely have proof now that she is immune. The fact that, you know, her bite was very clearly red and inflamed and Ellie's was not after the same amount of time. They also, she didn't have very long left. I remember that poster and it was like near the head, a couple of hours. Tess was very brave to the end. And kind of the comments she made about the things we've done, you know, I'm not under any illusion that Joel and Tess have been living as like wonderful people caring about greater humanity all these 20 years. I definitely think there's been a lot of survival, a lot of trying to make the best of the shit world that you can. And given the way the world fell apart and what Joel lost and how he lost it. I do not blame him for kind of taking from the world whatever he could. I think knowing Ellie will change that a bit. She is hope, and I have to think being around a girl about the same age his daughter was will be very, very hard for him, because it will remind him some of the like flippant teenage things she says will remind him. I mean, obviously she's nothing like his daughter because they grew up worlds apart from each other, but you know, she'll remind him of her in little ways. But I also think it could be healing. The outside world is terrifying. I mean, I do think obviously if you're when you're living safe behind the quarantine zone, you will tell, especially kids, that oh, if you go out there, there are just infected everywhere. You know, if you sneak out, you're dead instantly, to try and stop them from sneaking out. Kids like Ellie will still find a way or to sneak into quarantined zones, like the mall where she got bitten. And the way that she was like, when she asked if she was alone, I don't think she was alone. I wonder if we'll find out about that. But even though it's not like you can't breathe for swarms of infected, it is obviously still extremely dangerous. Any building you take shelter in, there could be one there could be a huge horde of them. It is a very dangerous place to be. I love the kind of science aspect of it, the fact that it's not just like zombies, like basic zombies, it's mushroom zombies. I know they're not zombies, but you know, they don't eat brains, but it's that similar kind of, I like that it's kind of its own take on it, yet it's you know, another show that used the like concept of the like cordyceps and the mycelium network and everything was a show about witches, but it was not zombies at all. The whole fight sequence in the museum was terrifying. I did spend most of this episode just waiting. I was convinced at some point they were just going to be walking and a zombie was going to attack. I don't know if any of them are quiet, because obviously those ones were very loud and you could hear them coming, which gives you a little bit of time to defend. I guess in a video game that's sort of a good thing to have, like when I'm imagining like the people coming up with the world that we're watching, because it kind of gives you as a player time to like get ready to do those quick time events or whatever. But are there also going to be quieter zombies or ones that were asleep and will wake up and will just, it's just terrifying. Infected, not zombies. So that whole fight was terrifying. I mean, all of the acting in this show is amazing. Oh my god, her name has escaped my head. Oh, I know her freaking name. Ellie. I know her. I know the actress's name so well. They are doing such a good job. Like, the way she portrays her, you can tell how brave and tough she is. You can still tell that she's scared. You can tell that she's putting on a front a lot of the time. She's still brave. Pedro's doing a brilliant job. I can't remember the name. I know the name of the actress that plays Tess as well. It was just such good acting. The flashback scene at the beginning where you kind of saw Jakarta, because of course we heard on the news, like when we were with Sarah and everything, there was the Jakarta incident. Was that when they bombed Jakarta? And then we saw evidence that they also tried to bomb the rest of the cities. And I guess that explains, because, you know, something that I wondered, and I'm sure everyone wondered, and I have no idea whether or not this has been covered in any Last of Us lore, was how you went from the chaos of that night to safe quarantine zones with big walls. What was life like in the interim? How did anybody survive? And how many people did survive? You know, the Boston quarantine zone wasn't tiny, but it was small compared to Boston. So like, how many people are alive in the world, and are there contacts? Basically, how's the UK doing? 10-year-old me, what chance did I have? Or 9 I would have been when it happened. What chance did I have? None is the answer. But I just want to know more about it. But they're finding out that little thing of like they bombed the major cities. I guess if that's where there was the concentrated strike, if they managed to take out a lot of the infected and potentially the infected's potential victims, that slowing the spread may have given them time to pull back to get people to a safe location. I mean, basically, I feel like once you've got a group together and you're in a place where you've got the entrances covered, there's an only limited number of entrances, and you've got people with guns on those entrances, I feel like you can kind of feel secure temporarily. And that is definitely how a Fedra, a military type dictatorship, could take over, because at the beginning, fucking hell, you would need those people to be there to protect you. 20 years on, I think maybe more of a democratic government could be in place, but that is not the main part of this show right now. It's a part of the show with the fireflies and everything. not knowing where they need to get Ellie to is extremely stressful, because obviously she is extremely important. I mean, she's important just because she exists, but she's important with whatever it is that makes her immune. And if there is even a 1% chance that that could be converted into a vaccine, even a cure, it has to be followed through. So how do we get her there? Obviously, from what Tess said, they're going to go to some people they have contacts with who might know where the Fireflies went, but obviously it doesn't sound like Joel has the best relationship with them. Along the way, obviously, there are going to be, when we heard about like raiders and slavers and all sorts of just human threats out there, as well as the monster threats. I'm so stressed with where this is going to go. Like, the basic knowledge I had of this show, we found out in episode 1, so now that Tess is dead, I'm like, I have no roadmaps for things to expect. I have to imagine we'll run into his brother. I don't know if his brother's the right way. Wyoming? Was that where his brother was? No, Salem? I don't even remember. For Joel, I do think we'll do whatever he can to protect Ellie. I think he's not a bad person. However, he might have hardened his heart over the last 20 years. I don't think he would just be like, oh, fuck you, and leave her. But I also could see, at least to begin with, him maybe thinking like, I'll just get her to the first person who can deal with it and go from there. I think it will be interesting to see what happens if he were to find someone who was like, oh yeah, I know where she's going, I'll take her, whether it was someone even someone he trusted. Would he kind of feel like, I want to see this through for Tess, for the hope that this brings to the world, or would he be like, yeah, great, thanks, I'm off, bye? I can't wait to see where the show goes. I mean, obviously he's going to stay with her because they are the two main characters, but just how it's all going to shape out, I'm so interested in that. Is it going to be the case of there is literally nobody else he can trust her with? But it's kind of imperative that they get to some kind of facility that can study her in a safe and humane way, please, because we need this cure. We need hope for the world, because there is literally none right now. The quarantine zones are brutal places to live, but this would be a shining, tiny glimmer, shining in the darkness of hope for the future. Seeing the way nature had reclaimed the world, the way the cordyceps fungus infection was everywhere, the idea that you step there and they know over there and come for you, very, very frightening. Not a world I would want to live in. Like I said, if the apocalypse comes, I think just take me quick, painlessly ideally, and I'm good. As much as I've watched a lot of shows set in apocalypses, I don't think I've got the right stuff. But this was a fantastic episode again. Rest in peace, Tess. She went out, if only the freaking lighter had lit quicker, but she went out relatively painlessly. She went out and took down a lot of the infected with her. She protected Joel and Ellie. And going forwards, the two of them are going to have to defend for themselves. I'm stressed. So this was a brilliant episode of a show that we already all know is going to continue to be fantastic. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.